fifth video in our series where we're using Meniscus Analytics platform to create a very simple IoT application. So in the previous videos we've created some entities which are equivalent to meters, we've created some regions and where we have aggregated the data from the entities into the regions, and we're now going to just add some more calculations into these region entities. So we're going to enter into the template. This is the region template, and we're going to add in 3 new calculations. We're going to add in 2 new aggregated items. So these are going to be aggregating data from the day consumption. We're going to be aggregating data from this total consumption meter. So let's just create another one. We're going to create aggregated item. This is a night consumption, and then the last one we're going to create is just a standard calculation, which will be taking data from the day and the night consumption, and we'll just call that day-to-night ratio. So we've already created very similar calculations to this at the entity level, and this is the higher region type level. So if we go into the day consumption, so first thing we've got to do, we've got to say where the data is coming from. So it's coming from this get relative ID, that tells it where it's going to get it from, and the path is in this existing structure, so it's which is and this dictates the path of where it's going to find this item. It is a daily meter again, which is fine, and then we're going to add in a value expression, which is very similar to the one we've created beforehand. And so basically this is we're going to create 2 variables, and this is where we create the variables. So this is a variable. It's taking creates R1 and also creates R2, and R1 is taking its value from a parameter called night end, which is a parameter within the region, and it takes R2 as the night start. And then we create the actual value expression itself is here. So it's taking R1, it uses the time for R1 and the time for R2, and it basically just compares those 2 values and uses the value of the consumption if it's within those times, or value of 0 if it's not. So that's our day meter. We're just going to do the same for the consumption meter, so let me just copy that. Just copy that. That comes into the night consumption value there, and we then take the night consumption, which I am cheating and just copying these from a previous example. Expression, and then the night time ratio. This is a standard calculation. It doesn't have, because it's a calculation, it doesn't have a source data. All we're going to do is we're going to define the calculation in the value expression, and this again is one that we've created in the previous example, and it's just looking at if the night consumption is, if the night consumption value is equal to 0, then it puts a 0 in. Otherwise it divides the day consumption by the night consumption. So let me just check that's a day. So that's going to check that one. So we just need to change that to a day. We're just going to create it from a day aggregation periodicity. Just check the night consumption as well. That's a day. Yep, and the day is also set as day. Good. So we can now go back and re-import our import file for our regions. So that's now created those. So if we now come into our entities, we can see that we've created the 3 calculations: day-night ratio, and night consumption. And these will start populating in a minute, and we'll start getting that data aggregated into them. So those are our values coming. So that's our day consumption, our night consumption, and our day-night ratio. And if we just come into the west, we can see that that's been calculated as well. So these little very small icons tend to take a little bit of time after they catch up after this data's been processed. So that's where we are at the moment. So we've created these 3 meters. So just to summarise, this consumption is coming from these entities, where each one of these has got a region assigned to it. So we could have 3,000, 30,000, 300,000 of these, calculation that we've created in here would have added those up and aggregated them to these east and west regions. So what we're now going to do is I'm just going to change this so that the night's start time is 2300 and it's finishing at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to change, we're going to see what happens if I change that to 0100. So that's now just 2 hours. So if we go back into the east and we look at the night consumption, we can see that the value at the moment, it's already changed, so it was 10, so I'm just going to go back. So I actually did it a bit too quick. So if I go back and we change that back to 07, and we come back into it, we can see at the moment it is a value of 2.046, and in a minute it'll change, it should jump back again to the previous calculated value. And that's it, it's now changed back to 10.993. So what we've shown you is how you can create entities, you can create a large number of them, you can then create the calculations for those entities, we can add new properties into those entities, and then we can aggregate them to a higher level, assign a whole range of calculations into that higher level, and actually control the time ranges and any other parameter that we want to from within the map application. So I hope that gives you some good understanding, or a little bit more understanding at least, of what map does and how it can work for creating IoT type applications. Thank you for your time.